left, you love Edom, you corrupted in lust. You haven't applied any of these laws, so for you that'll suck. Call me a hostage, fight oppressor, revolution is near. We've been raised by these wolves in condition and fear. I'm a part of, can't you tell that we built to be brave? We are revealed in execution, turn east on the slaves. You all dogs that die and bleed, you can't assist with the king. You a runaway slave and your survival's a dream. Praise the Father gave us power if we endure to the end. The water wise and wisdom, please to kill the mentions of sin.
Make it hot. MC, I'll be burning hot. Make it hot. MC, I'll be burning hot. Make it hot. MC, I'll be burning hot. Make it hot. MC, I'll be burning hot.
Prophets preparing for battle, we coming with scriptures. They plotting and scheming with the plans to come and get us. You've been a valor, here's an hour to hold position. Casualty awards, what it takes to get the kingdom, the taste of freedom. Can you picture the 12 tribes coming at your intentions of getting even with the heathen? You should have seen it. End times and war arises with the rumors speaking around the corner. No time for mourning, cause the reaper's creeping. No time for sleeping. My mind's dirty, fully loaded. Bombs, explosions, the whole world full of corrosion. Devil exposed to the world for who he is. No more mystery Babylon. You've been revealed. It's like a woman in travail. She's full of pain. This is the end of the eagle shaking at this man. We taking hold of the hill, as the scriptures say. Esau is the end of the world. Let the record play. Hey.
Make it hot. MC, I'll be burning hot. Make it hot. MC, I'll be burning hot. Make it hot. MC, I'll be burning hot. Make it hot. MC, I'll be burning hot.
Yeah, listen, who wanna clash with the titans? Masters of the universe, wielding a sword of Zion. A mighty rhino, one lion, killing all of Poseidons and idols. Your faith residing. Was a healing Goliath to El Shaddai was fire, lightning. Oh, so frightened, sighting, sound the siren. Wicked soul catchers and zombies, behold the triumph. The islands move, the sky is gloom. Eyes up to eye your doom. The land of the free is a fire tomb. Lake of disaster, maggot scrolls his master. Coons and pastors, fellowship and molten magma. Behold the answer to a deadly rampant cancer. The end is here. Esau, your end is near, so our mind is clear. Israel, no time to fear. Preach. As we war in the beast and stand tall till the Lord's prophecy come complete. When the sky cracks open, salvation comes from the east. Till then, keep your soul on fire and pray to the east.
Make it hot. MC, I'll be burning hot. Make it hot. MC, I'll be burning hot. Make it hot. MC, I'll be burning hot. Make it hot. MC, I'll be burning hot.
Elevate on them. So much snakes I see around me. Don't want me to live, they wanna ground me. They tryna silence me. I got God on my side and all these legions that gon' ride for me. So I pray for my enemies. I pray, gotta pray for my enemies. I pray, yeah. I gotta pray for my ops. Want me to fall so bad, they pulling out all the stops. All the work to be done and they want me to stop. Fulfilling my destiny, I'm on my way to the top. Bad times revealing the fakes. You wasn't loyal, you wasn't real from the start, you was always a snake. They can't phase me, got on my side and you know we protecting the saint. You thought you had one upon me, now I'm feeling too great. Why they jealous of my ice? Got them wondering the price. Every prophet gotta shine, they don't want us looking nice. Now you wanna see us fail, we move in the spirit of Christ. They sold on sale, 30 shekels be the price. Yeah, I gotta pray for my ops. New slaps for the sheep and they man wanna drop. All out of work to be done and they want me to stop. Fulfilling my destiny, I'm on my way to the top. So much snakes I see around me. Don't want me to live, they wanna ground me. They tryna silence me. I got God on my side and all these angels that'll ride. So I pray for my enemies. I pray, gotta pray for my enemies. I pray.
Try to get the kingdom, you can see it in my eyes. We got heathens watching, eat them, plotting, demons in the skies. Evil prophets, leaders seeking profit, preachers telling lies. We the ones they tried to stop, but now we right back on the rise. Some people just ain't for you. Already had a little feeling that you weren't loyal. I was the one who had your back when they came for you. But now you switched your side and I just can't ignore it. Stay in the box and don't come around, cause we are not equal and we do not play with the odds. We holding it down, although you my people, I see you be hating a lot. I'm seeking the crown, I let you little niggas just stick to the scrape in the pot. You pray for the most, I to give you the job, but you didn't stay with the route. Oh no, they ain't stopping the profits. I'm taking my crown, I'm getting the kingdom, and there ain't no way you can stop it. They sending my name, they talking that shit. These niggas is so out of pocket. No relevant for real, and I pray for my enemies. Yeah, I'ma stick to the topic. Yeah. So much snakes I see around me. Don't want me to live, they wanna ground me. They try to silence me. I got God on my side and all these angels that'll ride. So I pray for my enemies. I pray. I pray for my enemies. I pray.
I'm calling on soldiers. Let's go. Wake your ass up. Wake up. Wake your ass up. Wake your ass up. I ain't taking no nuts. For the 12, I'm bridging the gap. 16-11, I'm strapped. Dream team coming back with a slap. On the block where it's at. White Chris getting smacked. Who gon' read? I'm about to snap. This straight facts, my boy, no cap. What's going on? For the 12, I'm bridging the gap. 16-11, I'm strapped. Dream team coming back with a slap. On the block where it's at. White Chris getting smacked. Who gon' read? I'm about to snap. This straight facts, my boy, no cap. Scripts going on.
Well, a script, he gon' flip like an acrobat. Give him a cardiac, he caught a heart attack. Got the facts like under a stepper cap. We got the fire, we be the battle axe. Saints is back and we came for the throne. I put my sword to the back of your dome. I'm getting laughter off your disaster, making these bastards give up the ghost.
Cause we getting active. Keep talking your shit and it's gonna get tragic. My God, he got tactics. Give him an hour, he gonna do damage. Flex. Right on, demons creeping with the lights on. Bunch of wolves and pythons. Mindset like an iron. We shot down the eagle, gathered the people, whipping in shape. They feeling so feeble. Stars of the movie ain't talking no regal. Turn the king, better get with the sequel. This ain't the time to be evil. Pray to my God, I was there for the prequel. Bringing that fire straight to your liars. Toast that boy up like a churro.
Yeah, we put in the work, ain't no time out. We done a lot of this work, so we bring it out. When we hit up the streets, we coming to preach. Disrespect, I'm unleashing the beast, stay war mode. Scripts is cutting like a Brenda. When we swinging the sword, the demons they fear, they turn around and surrender. When Christ they turn to sweet vengeance. Evicting all of you tenants, he's saving his people that came from the trenches and giving us planets and all of the riches. We taking the kingdom, destroying the wicked. You reap what you sow, so it's gonna get hectic. This moving is ending, about time for the credits. Offending your brother, you better just dead it or get him ahead of the scriptures.
I ain't taking no nuts. For the 12, I'm bridging the gap. 16-11, I'm strapped. Dream team coming back with a slap. On the block where it's at. White Chris getting smacked. Who gon' read? I'm about to snap. This straight facts, my boy, no cap. What's going on? For the 12, I'm bridging the gap. 16-11, I'm strapped. Dream team coming back with a slap. On the block where it's at. White Chris getting smacked. Who gon' read? I'm about to snap. This straight facts, my boy, no cap. Scripts going up.
I can't sleep. Got wolves on the kill my sheep. Boy, crazy. You don't want smoke, you don't want heat. Wanna write checks? Can't catch that. Jazzy, I got receipts. My warfare so unique. Got the hit squad, you know we deep. How you gon' pull up a war with a woman controlling the narrative? Y'all niggas weak. Hey, trust me, your future look bleak. Thank you for turning against me, cause that doesn't prove me. I keep making tweaks. Busy, I'm out in the streets. Y'all still writing tweets? Shit. Everybody shook when I clap. Back, my enemies gotta retreat. Petty. Might work. They don't know who they accusing. Got bombs and I ain't even use it yet. I made a sword out of music. Gotta do it. When I strike, these devils gon' lose it. That Trump car was a doozy. Tryna damage the way people view me. Joke. They shooting they shots back to back. You don't know you can't step to a guy with a Uzi. Little boy, this good over evil. I'ma talk once after that, ain't no sequel. Right. My weapon is lethal. It's about time I go hunt for a weasel. Ayy, this for the people. Fight off these demons coming for the feeble. My weapon is lethal. It's about time I go hunt for a weasel. Hey, 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 hey. I'm calling on soldiers. Hey, 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 hey. Let's go. Wake your ass up. Hey, woo. Wake up. Hey, wake your ass up. Wake your ass up. I ain't taking no nuts. For the 12, I'm bridging the gap. Yeah. 16-11, I'm strapped. Dream team coming back with a slap. Yeah. On the block where it's at. White Chris getting smacked. Who gon' read? I'm about to snap. This straight facts, my boy, no cap. What's going on? For the 12, I'm bridging the gap. 16-11, I'm strapped. Dream team coming back with a slap. Yeah. On the block where it's at. White Chris getting smacked. Who gon' read? I'm about to snap. This straight facts, my boy, no cap. Scripts going on. Boom.
I know you don't like this. I know they don't like this. Yeah, look. The purple a problem, that's a known fact, yeah. How we go hard on them, they like get up off us like we better be cautious. No grace come with a limit, can't stop what's coming with it. Persistent, resilient, the purple a problem, that's a known fact, yeah. How we go hard on them, they like get up off us, we revolutionary, very. And those that hate us with it, they scary, they wanna bury it. I know that they scary.
We came from humble beginnings, a moral environment, a jungle was sinning that's gon' scorch when the fire sent. From low lifes in the streets, known to murder and rob. Two warrior priests in the army of God. They tried to count us out and subtract us from the earth. Living in this life of sin, it only added to the curse. They divided up our families when they told us lies. But Israel don't die, it multiplies. We ain't trying to be equal, that don't solve them. Man, we hit the block and cry loud and change the volume. We ain't fly by night, we do this often. True blue, you mix that with what we read, you got a problem. Yeah.
The purple a problem, that's a known fact, yeah. How we go hard on them, they like get up off us like we better be cautious. No grace come with a limit, can't stop what's coming with it. Persistent, resilient, the purple a problem, that's a known fact, yeah. How we go hard on them, they like get up off us, we revolutionary, very. And those that hate us worry, they scary, they wanna bury us. I know that they scared of us.
Call on the name of Yahweh, Jesus Christ, they don't like that. Over titles, they fight it. Yahweh shot gonna kill them. That word that's envy and strife. I see confusion of faces. They say they keeping commandments, but teaching nothing but hatred. It's like a gang of them. They run them stars. It's like a gang of them. The same in them. Them demons speaking, ain't no shame in them. We cast it down. All a lie. Shame on them. Friday nights, it can get raw. Put a flame to them. We cook their beef with yellow straight to fix your face. They make stuff up, but anyway, we building up this nation. An organized nation, putting in so many bricks, they say we make
the purple a problem, that's a known fact, yeah. How we go hard on them, they like get up off us like we better be cautious. No grace come with a limit, can't stop what's coming with it. Persistent, resilient, the purple a problem, that's a known fact, yeah. How we go
You are now flying.
Applying pressure to the pedal breaking. Lord know we dedicated. Revealing truth to our people, we been miseducated. Great awakening taking place and they can't decimate it. Truth serum that can't be replicated. Get medicated, this that Psalms 10780. We got this truth and can't keep calm. On the corner dropping bombs, can't be detonated. Jump from coast to coast like LeBron, but we never traded. Got the breath of life in my lungs, I'm resuscitated. Precepts, the only P we pushing in this hitting harder than the desert eagle bullet. Hit the earth with the line, let it sink and we gon' hook 'em. We had idols in our mind, heard this word and we forsook 'em. If it's no more rent, we raising up the 12. They say the truth hurts, so we labor and travail. From NYC to Houston, from LA to River it's a wicked Hellcat. I ain't got my foot on the brake. Truth got my mind, I'm feeling renewed every day. Giving sight to the blind, it's something we do every day. And I don't care if what I'm saying make you feel away. Yeah, let's talk truth. Let's talk about it. Let's talk truth. Let's talk about it. Yeah, let's talk truth. Yeah, hear what I'm saying. Let's go inside the park. Let me go make it play.
Welcome back to another week of
Let's Talk Truth.
Today you got myself, Captain Emmanuel, to my right.
Officer Baruch.
To my left.
Officer
To
Jeremy.
his left.
Officer Hezekiah.
All praise to the Most High God. As y'all can see, today's topic is the truth about America's education system. Alright? It's a very, very heavy topic. It's a lot, it's a lot to deal with. It's a lot to unpack.
Right.
I ain't dealing with the history of this education system, all right? But let's open up with Proverbs chapter 8, verse 6.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 8 and verse 6. Hear, for I will speak of excellent things, and the opening of my lips shall be right things. For my mouth shall speak truth.
For what?
My mouth shall speak truth.
Let's talk truth. Read.
For my mouth shall speak truth, and wickedness is an abomination to my lips.
All right.
No, here you go. Need some glaces.
Let's play that first video, man, just to warm y'all up to the topic.
Right.
This sister right here, she is very, very coonish, but, she got some logical viewpoints or whatever, so some stuff we be able to use her words to, make certain points. All right, play the video.
Know that Bill Gates is spending $1.7 billion to fix the U.S. education system. That's so like him, right? Every time we hear about Bill or Melinda Gates, they just seem to be extending their tentacles into everywhere because they're philanthropists, right? They just want to help. These people just wake up every day and go, how can we help? It's all about helping. So he's decided to help with what he views to be problematic math.
Pause.
He says math suffers.
So we know anytime Bill Gates' name come up with him helping with something,
right?
We know that it falls right in line with that agenda to depopulate the earth.
Right.
You understand? For the least to gain, to maintain control over the population. That's what it's all about.
Corruption.
That's why he's buying up all the farmland to control the food.
Right.
You understand? To control the brains. He just won't eat a damn devil.
Right. He trying to rule the world.
So if he putting billions of dollars because he found it fell upon his spirit to do something about mathematics. He said the math is problematic. The same math that he grew up and learned and became the richest man in the world. That math is problematic. So I'm going to spend billions of dollars to change it. Go back to the video.
That's crazy.
From, you guessed it, white supremacy. So he's put forth an equitable math curriculum. You're probably going, equitable. I keep hearing that word. What is equitable math? Everywhere we're talking about there needs to be more equity everywhere. Well, equitableMath.org, which is his organization, describes the problem as being a white supremacy culture that shows up in math classrooms when the focus is on getting the right answer. That's the problem. The problem is that it's a white supremacist idea to now get the right answer in classrooms. So they've decided they're going to fix that. They're trying to introduce all across the country, no need to get the right answer. Basically, they're going to make your kids stupid. And they're going to hide under the guise of white supremacy and make sure children, as long as they're trying their best, they'll get an A, right? Check. You were completely wrong, but we're going to give you a correct because that would be the equitable thing to do. And this infuriates me for a lot of reasons. It infuriates me because we are just seeing so much perversion inside of classrooms. So much perversion in general when it comes to children, especially in the education system. You might remember a few weeks ago, we talked about a woman named Justine Ang Fonte. She is a health and wellness educator. And here's what the health and wellness educator did. She led a class on masturbation for first graders at a Manhattan.
Hold up. Whoa.
So
she showed the.
All right. So not only is it they making it to where you don't got to get the right answer. So they basically making the kids stupid because they're not teaching him. They're not teaching them math.
There's no purpose to have it.
They just catering to, whatever. So not only that, not only is the actual education aspect declining because they not correcting the kids and whatever in terms of the arithmetic, but they also bringing in stuff that ain't got nothing to do with education.
Hell no.
In the classroom, they teaching little boys how to jack off.
Oh, that's crazy. No.
They teaching little girls how to flick the bean.
Come on, man.
That's what they doing.
It's
so
crazy.
we not learning timetables no more. You understand? We learning masturbation in the classroom.
Come on now, dog.
Man, this is
You can't make this up.
What's their reasoning behind it? I wonder.
We gonna get into it today.
Man.
All right, we'll go back to the video.
School. She showed the young students a video about children touching themselves. The film featured children cartoon characters having frank discussions about sexual activities and bodily functions, including, ready, erections and touching oneself for pleasure. Of course, the parents of this school were particularly outraged. Somebody leaked it to the press. People were upset. I'm sure they called the administration and said, this is not okay. But this isn't the first time she's done this, by the way. In Manhattan, she also taught a health and sexuality workshop to juniors at Columbia Grammar Preparatory School, in which they all learned about different genres of porn, which included gangbang, anal, and even stepmother porn, incestuous type porn. That is what happened to 16-year-olds when they went to school. Here's a workshop. Actually, we're going to talk to you about.
So in the classroom, 16-year-olds, right, they learned the different genres of porn. What?
Wow. They taking this to
mother porn, stepmother porn.
We are in Babylon.
Incestuous porn.
You know this stuff messes with their mind. Like this is gonna make them messed up.
Yeah.
You talking about? This is crazy, man.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
This is touchy right here.
Go back to the video.
About pornography. And again, the parents were outraged, so outraged it got leaked to the press and it caused a firestorm online. And you would think this woman would be fired, but no, they said that she's stepping down, but they're proud of the work that Justine has done. The school has spoken out on behalf of her. The parents were not even given a heads up regarding these lessons. They drop off their children and this is what's happening. And, the school apologized for not giving them a heads up. Does that seem okay to you? Doesn't seem okay to me.
So
I hope you guys are enjoying the show.
All right. So this just throw me off when that happens. So anyway, basically the schools are able to put these things in the classroom and the parents learn about it on the back end. You understand? So your kids come home and let you know that they already the fouling has already been done.
Right.
Damn.
Get that in Nehemiah 9 real quick. Nehemiah 9,
Look what I learned.
37. Yeah, bruh. So the children are getting introduced things that their parents are not privy to.
Right.
Nehemiah 9:37.
Nehemiah chapter 9, verse 37.
Go ahead.
And it yielded much increase unto the kings, whom thou hast set over us because of our sins.
Come on.
Also, they have dominion over our bodies.
They do what?
Have dominion over our bodies.
So God said that our enemies have dominion over our bodies. Now, this is going into the Israelites, right?
Right.
We understand we got to serve our enemies and want of all things, and they got full reign over, whatever. But on a larger scale, just in general, the wicked the spiritual wickedness in high places in order to keep this train running, he got to do this to all the damn kids that don't got the money to make it in his private schools and, you know, the schools where the elite learn how to actually become doctors and lawyers and rocket scientists and stuff like that. The place where the workers go, the place where the people going to fill out job applications, they all under this dominion. You understand? We don't got to run nothing through the parents. Y'all catch it later. Y'all fill out y'all complaints or whatever later. The damage already done.
Damn.
All right, go back to the video. The next time stamp.
That's crazy as heck, man. That's crazy.
They're teaching equitable math, which is teaching your children how to be stupid. Literally teaching children to be stupid. And now, of course, is the hyper-sexualization of our children. What can we do? Candace, what can we do? I'm going to tell you right now what you can do. I'm going to actually reverse it, and I'm going to ask you a question. And that question is, what would you do? What would you do if you took your child to the playground and they came across another adult, and that adult, let's say he's a male, showed your first grader a cartoon about masturbation? Would you call the administration? Would you call the people that own the playground and say, this is not acceptable? Is that all you would do? Does that seem okay to you? Somehow, the transferring the same exact thing happening within an institution or a school, parents don't know what to do. But if it was on the playground, they wouldn't know what to do. They would call the cops because that is a sexual offense. Children are now being sexually offended in the classroom. And parents don't understand that. They can't comprehend that it doesn't change the crime because it's happening from a teacher. In my opinion, Justine, she should have to register as a sexual offender. If that was my child, I would have gone to the police station, not to the administration. I want you to understand something. At this moment in the country, our children are under attack. They are being preyed upon by the educators. They are being preyed upon by people that have nefarious goals. This is a serious issue. And a reminder from me, you shouldn't be asking me what to do. You need to remind yourself that you are the parent. We are the parents. What would you do in any circumstance that your child is being victimized by other adults? I'm a big supporter now, of course, of homeschool. I think that the schools are a disaster. They cannot be trusted with our children. And I hear people say, well, I can't afford to do homeschooling. I have to work. I understand that predicament. It's an obvious predicament that many people are in. You have to work. So that's why you send your children to school. And you say, well, the school, at least it's free. It's not free. The public school system is not free. It is costing you your child's mind.
Damn.
It is propaganda, it is lies, it is making them dumber, and it is sexualizing them. It's a huge trade-off. For 6 hours a day, they have your children, and they are turning them into whatever it is they desire to turn them into. And the answer is not good people. That's no longer their goal anymore. It's not productive people. That's no longer their goal anymore.
Sheesh. All righty. So let's get Philippians 2:15 real quick. So it's a lot. What she said, we're going to break down the different elements throughout the show today, y'all. So we ain't got to unload the clip yet, brothers. But it's a lot. It's definitely a lot. But the gist of it is we are dealing with a wicked, perverse nation.
Right.
Right? And it's not like the teachers being self-willed and they just want to show the kids some porn or some masturbation tactics or whatever the case may be. This stuff is coming from the top down. All right? Read what you got.
The book of Philippians chapter 2 and verse 15.
Come on.
That ye may be blameless and harmless, the sons of God, without rebuke.
Read.
In the midst of a crooked and perverse nation.
What did God call this nation?
A crooked and perverse nation.
So we understand during Paul's time it was Rome.
Right.
But the Bible describes Rome as the fourth beast. That's the same beast and what would eventually become Babylon the Great.
Right.
meaning America is an extension of Rome. So what Paul said about Rome applies to America, but even on a higher degree. You understand? They have reached new heights, new levels of being crooked and perverse. You understand? This is a very perverse nation. So if you're giving your child over, she said 6 hours. You giving your child to them for 8, 9. If they go to the bus stop, because it starts when they get on the bus. Mm-hmm. So they get on the bus at 7. You understand? They get off the bus at 4:30.
Message.
That's hell. 7 to 12 is 5 hours. Then 4. That's 9.5 hours.
That's a whole work shift.
Exactly. That's a whole work shift with a lunch break and some. You understand? For real. That's how long they got your children each and every day to feed them whatever crooked and perversion they want to.
It's crazy.
You understand? So it will behoove the parents, especially us in this truth, right?
Yes, sir.
To really take heed and beware of these things if we really love our children.
Right.
All right, so look, y'all, we're going to deal with the reality radar. We're going to spin back around to the topic. I don't even want to spend too long on this topic because as of right now, it's all allegedly, right? But this is kind of, the hot topic of the week. So we got to deal with it. All right. So let's move to the reality radar. Reality radar. Put that on the screen. Put your favorite Babylonian BBW on the screen.
Oh, God.
Come on now, dog.
All right. Just play the video. It's a video.
Fallout for Lizzo after the Truth Hurts singer was sued by 3 of her former dancers, saying their truth hurts. The suit filed on Tuesday by Ariana Davis, Crystal Williams, and Noel Rodriguez accused the Grammy winner of creating a hostile work environment, weight-shaming them, and pressuring them to participate in parties with overly sexual atmospheres.
All the rumors are true, yeah. I've been in the bamboo, yeah. Focused on this music.
Davis and Williams say they started performing with Lizzo after competing in her 2021 reality show, Watch Out for the Big Girls, but were fired in 2023.
It was a very, very heartbreaking experience to go through, just because we looked up to this woman and we were thinking that everything was going to be essentially what we dreamed of.
The women telling our station KABC they feared retaliation.
We can't really say no when there's this sense of authority and power over you at all times. When there's this sense of, I'm gonna lose my job if I don't get in with the artist and, be her best friend.
And overnight, the third plaintiff, Noel Rodriguez, who was hired as a dancer for Lizzo's Juice video in 2018, telling ABC News the singer became aggressive after she resigned from her position this spring.
I told her why. I was like, I feel unsafe, I feel disrespected, and I have never experienced such treatment in the 7 years that I've been doing this. And she then proceeded to prove all of those things right by balling up her fist and saying, "You're so effing lucky, you're so effing lucky," basically alluding to hitting me, that she's not going to hit me, as she's inching towards me. And then one of our fellow dance mates and her best friend comes and pulls her back from assaulting me.
Lizzo's persona is one thing, but that after listening to these 3 brave ladies, that the reality is different.
It's hard to love yourself in a world that doesn't love you back. You know what I mean? And I've been trying to do it so boldly.
Lizzo, a longtime champion of body positivity and inclusivity, is known for surrounding herself with plus-size performers in her music and her Emmy-winning reality show.
When I was a little girl, all I wanted to see was me in the media. Someone fat like me, black like me, beautiful like me.
Noelle, the third dancer, told us that during those 7 years as a dancer, she worked with stars like Beyonce, Megan Thee Stallion, and Lady Gaga, and that she never felt disrespected or treated badly. Now, this morning, Lizzo is responding, saying these are false allegations, adding that the dancers admitted they were told their behavior on tour was inappropriate, and adding that, quote, I know what it feels like to be body shamed on a daily basis and would absolutely never criticize or terminate an employee because of their weight. But these are grabbing headlines for
really
days.
Are.
They really are, Juju.
Yeah, that was just a portion of her statement. She went on and on and on. So we'll see. We will see.
A big statement from Lizzo this morning.
Different.
All right. Thank you, Juju.
All right, all praise to the Most High. So, Lizzo, all right, the poster BBW of Babylon. She is in the news. Now, that was a nice video because the stuff that I'd seen or heard, they were saying that she was forcing them to eat bananas and a whole bunch of Holly weird stuff. Like some nasty.
Some reality.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, God. For real. So, you know, get 1 Timothy chapter 6. We know what the Lord has to say about these type of lifestyles. Once you get in that entertainment realm and you introduced to all these evil spirits, you got access to all these evil temptations, you hear about this stuff that's done in secret, and eventually it come to light. All right, read that. 1 Timothy 6, verse 10.
The book of 1 Timothy, chapter 6, and verse 10.
Yeah.
For the love of money.
Start at verse 9.
Verse 9. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition.
Right, so foolish and hurtful lusts. Those overweight background dancers, they wanted to be in that life. They wanted to be a part of their life. You understand? And in order to get to their life, they had to go through foolish and hurtful lust imposed on them by Lizzo. That's a part of the rites of passage when you get into that life. Right? Now watch this. Go to Ephesians chapter 5, verse 12. This is something that we always see when it comes to superstars and Hollywood and the things of that nature. When stuff come to light, you be like, why? Why was they doing stuff like that?
What's wrong with you?
Read that.
Ephesians chapter 5, verse 12. For it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret.
The things that they do in secret, but banana eating rituals.
Come on now.
You understand? Dog. Just the weird look, you know, like even when you watch Making a Band with Diddy, how you know the different stuff he will make them do, like fraternity style stuff. To be a part of a music group, like, bro, I'm here to sing. I'm here to dance.
Right.
What the hell is this?
How is that helpful?
I'm telling you, bro, it is the music industry is satanic. Lizzo is a plump puppet of Satan, period. All right, you brothers got something, man.
Yes, sir. Let's go to Matthew 18 real quick, because, you know, they said allegedly, and she said she ain't do it, but it's too many witnesses. It's too many.
Right.
It's too many came up. 18 and 16. They go to word right here.
The book of Matthew, chapter 18, and verse 16. But if he would not hear thee, then take with thee one or two more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses.
In the mouth of what?
2 or 3 witnesses.
In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. There's many that came up. Come on.
Every word may be established.
It is. It's done deal right there. She did that thing, man.
They nailed it to the cross. Damn.
She did that thing, man.
Damn, you just, that was it. That sealed it.
Man,
it's too many that came up.
Go ahead, hurry up.
Hey, go to Sirach chapter 13. Sirach chapter 13, because it makes me think, every time it's always something with these celebrities, with how they're treating their dancers or their workers or the people in the back. That's why the scripture tells us to do this. Read Sirach chapter 13 and read verse 2 and 3. Or read verse 2, then jump to verse 3.
Sirach chapter 13 and verse 2. Burden not thyself above thy power while thou livest, and have no fellowship with one that is mightier, and richer than thyself.
So what tends to happen is people have these talents and skills, and these rich celebrities, they see, okay, I have need of this person. This person can do something and help my image. In this case, dancers, whatever the case may be. Jump down to verse 3, though.
Verse 3. The rich man have done wrong.
Lizzo have done wrong. Beyonce does wrong. Ellen does wrong. All these allegations, they're always treating people wrong. Come on.
And yet he threatened it with all.
Yet they still are the ones threatening these dancers like, man, you better be glad. What did she say? She balled up her fist and was like, ooh, I ought to do this to you. Rich people walk around with this level of confidence that they can treat people any type of way. Come on.
The poor is wronged.
Uh-huh.
And he must entreat also.
These people was done wrong, and it's like they still gotta plead their case and explain what happened to them. But they got all this proof. That's why the scripture, it said, burden not yourself above your power. When you sign up to work for these celebrities and people high in society, just understand this is what come with it.
That's a cold precept right there. I'll praise to the Most High. So look, we gonna go to okay. I looked up. Blur. All right, so we gonna go to a quick break. When we come back, we gonna be getting on the topic.
That's right.
The truth about America's education system. So don't go nowhere. We'll be right back with more on
Let's Talk Truth.
Hey, pray for us, man. Something off today. Something off.
It's something bad in the mist. Got a sip from the drink in the mix. In my bag, pull a script. Let it go on the track. That's a hit. Pull a script from the hip. Clang the bell. That's a hit. Pull a script from the hip. Clang the bell. That's a hit. If you ain't standing for the truth, then you don't understand us. Yeah. Big ol' family hit for corners in Miami, never baby. We ain't charging another foreign answer. Yeah, we giving truth for the Lord. I'm a patient saint when I be in Atlanta. Temptation, I can pray to God and never stop me. Christian churches, Holy Ghost is out and catching bodies. Yeah, we giving truth for the Lord. Giving that when I'm down for. Compliments to relax ya. Split tongue and that laughter. Never back to a pastor. Backstabbing and mask up. Disguise with a back rub. Cool, we got truth. Something bad in the mist. Got a sip from the drink in the mix. In my bag, pull a script. Let it go on the track. That's a hit. Pull a script from the hip. Clang the bell. That's a hit. Pull a script from the hip. Clang the bell. That's a hit. True. Told me go get him, I got him. I came from the life of the party to giving the party the light. Stuck in the dark as the fight. Everyone wanna be right, not just. They not right, just think I might just show them just. Let me be the judge. Show them how to love right dust. When no mic dust, give it my touch. That's a plus. 144,000 added up. That's a rush. That's a blitz. Take your quarterback, we coming with the central. It's something bad in the mist. Got a sip from the drink in the mix. In my bag, pull a script. Let it go on the track. That's a hit. Pull a script from the hip. Clang the bell. That's a hit. Pull a script from the hip. Clang the bell. That's a hit. Told me go get him, I got him. I came from the life of the party to giving the party the light. Stuck in the dark as a fight. Everyone wanna be right, not just. They not right, just think I might just show them just. Let me be the judge. Show them how to love right.
Hey,
we back.
Welcome back to
Let's Talk Truth.
Lord have mercy on us today. All praise to the Most High. So look, y'all, I just saw a post on Facebook. It said they calling Lizzo R. Belly.
Oh man.
Damn. Cold, bro. The love of many shall wax cold, bro.
Hey.
Damn.
They don't play, bro.
I was thinking some Ike stuff.
R. Belly.
Come on now, dog.
Well, I guess you can. Damn. All right, all praise to the Most High. So look, y'all, before we get into the topic, we got to do a quick what the hell is this segment. Y'all already know. Now this video is a joke. You understand? Yeah, I just wanted to show it this week because it really tickled me on the inside. But this joke alone debunks the feminist movement. The whole, just like we went over Monday night dealing with the Andrew Tate interview review, the whole feminist movement is hypocrisy.
Right.
You understand? This all bark, no bite. They really don't believe what they saying.
Hell no.
They just brainwashed. It just, look, watch this. Play the video.
Say to all you men, us women, we tired of getting disrespected.
That's right.
Y'all men want to be leaders. We want to be leaders too.
Yup.
Y'all men want to get money. We want to get money too.
Money.
Y'all men want to pay the bills. We want to pay the bills too. Y'all men want to propose. Hell, we want to get on one knee and propose too.
Whoa.
It's time for us women to stand up. Don't touch me. Oh shit. It's time for us women to take the lead. It's time for us women to pay for the first date. It's time for us to mow the lawn. It's time for us to do.
No.
PSA to all
Time for you to shut the hell up.
Right.
So
that
that shows you the hypocrisy of feminism right there.
Damn, that's crazy.
They want the money that we make. They want the position. They want the authority. But they really don't want. They don't want what all come with. Just like white people when it comes to black people.
Right.
You understand? They want to jump high. They want us, the other stuff. They want to be able to run fast and all that, but they don't want to be oppressed. Right. They don't want to be discriminated against.
I want to be shot down the street.
You know what I'm saying? For real. So the woman, she thinks that she wants to, have the whatever of the man, the power of the man, but that's not how God made you, sis. Exactly. That's going against your nature. Can we get that in 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 8? The woman has a divine purpose, a divine nature given from God. You got to think, if you roll in your divine nature given to you by God, imagine the impact that you would have on earth. You understand? Yes. Imagine how blessed you would be and how much of a blessing you would be to everybody else.
Right.
But when you try to usurp yourself in somebody else's role that you're not even fully comfortable with, you just want the benefits, but you don't want all the labor. You understand? And now you throwing it out. Now you making us die. You understand? Now we got a lifespan.
Right.
Now there's no pay. We gotta work. We gotta sweat to eat. Read what you got.
1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 8.
Come on.
For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man.
Right. The man is not of the woman. The woman is of the man. Read on.
Neither was the man created for the woman,
Read.
but the woman for the man.
The woman was created for the man. That's the purpose. Your purpose is not to lead. Right. Your purpose is not to be the provider. You may have to help. You may have to support. You may have to pitch in.
Right.
But you're not meant to be the head, sis. That's not why God made you. And guess what? You're not built for that.
I like that
according to the Bible. Can we get that? 1 Peter 3 and 7. Read that real quick.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 3 and verse 7.
Come on.
Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge,
Read.
giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel.
Like as unto what?
The weaker vessel.
As unto the weaker vessel. Now, some of y'all may or may not have heard of Clarissa Shields, right? Y'all know what it is?
Yeah, the boxer.
Yes,
right.
sir.
She can whoop a lot of dudes' ass.
Right.
So it's not necessarily, even though scientifically, biologically, predominantly, men have, bigger bone structures and things of that nature, we still, stronger physically as a whole per se. But it's some women out here that'll beat they man ass. It is what it is. Right? So it's more so going into their mental makeup, how God wired them. They're not wired to be spiritual leaders. That's why Satan, when he came to infiltrate and cause the downfall of man, who did he go through? The woman. Because he understood that's the weaker vessel. She came from the man. She came from his weak spot, the damn rib. You understand? That's understood spiritually, but the woman, and deep down inside, as you can see, she understands that spiritually, but she wants to eat the fruit of lies that Satan fed her and pursue something that she don't want without come with that. She don't want without come with being a man. And that's what that little funny skit truly reveals. You know what they say about jokes, and every joke is some truth.
Message.
Y'all got something?
Yeah, and just to piggyback off, to lamb back off what you just said, like when you look into feminism, it was created in slavery. It was manifested in slavery. Or the mindset to put the black woman against her black man, that's what Willie Lynch taught you. They taught you to go against your man because guess what? In the end of the day, you're going to create effeminate men and masculinized women. That's what you're going to create. And that's going to destroy the nation because what other nation doing that? You don't see the white people doing that. You don't see the Asian race doing that. You only see that in our community. So that's a tool that they're using to get the black woman to say, hey, I'm independent. And they get rappers and singers to say the same thing, put that in their music, so that way you can sexualize and demonize our nation. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're doing. So that's why you got to really wake up and see what's going on.
This is America.
Yep. So all praise to the Most High. And you don't realize that you've been duped until you 40, 45, 50 with a cat. You understand? And that's it.
And some peanut butter.
And your ex-husband or the man that you could have been with, but you wanted to pursue your job and career instead, he's married with kids and having a good old life and having grandkids, and you having cobwebs. You
Emotional, damn
That's when you look back and you like, damn, Satan got me. So just take heed to what we saying and just humble down and embrace your God-given role. This is the Bible. This ain't Kevin Samuels. This ain't Andrew Tate. This ain't men's philosophy. We telling you from the word of God. God said that you were created of the man for the man. You understand? Not to be the man. Right. That's not your role. All right? Stay in your lane. Ain't that the sound bite? Yeah. He can't find it.
Stay in your lane.
All right, all praise to the Most High. Let's get into the topic. We gonna get into this documentary that goes into the history of America's education system. All right? Started like the 6-minute mark for the sake of time. All right. Play that.
They will also learn how to listen to orders. They would learn how to do as they're told, to respect the authority of their Prussian leaders. And this new Prussian education system worked. One Prussian philosopher brilliantly described their education model by writing, "Education should be aimed at destroying free will, so that after pupils are thus schooled, they will be incapable throughout the rest of their lives of thinking or acting otherwise than as their schoolmasters would have wished. When the technique has been perfected, every government that has been in charge of education for more than one generation will be able to control its subjects securely, without the need of armies or policemen." It was as poetic as it was true.
So this right here, this was the Prussian government, or whatever the case, they was trying to establish power over the Polish. So this is what they did they couldn't delete the Polish values or whatever the case, from the adults. So how are we going to do it to the children? How are we going to put the Polish children into subjection for the next generation to fall in line with, with what we want them to fall in line with, right? They came up with the education system. Now that's overseas, right? That's in Europe. We going to find out how your black ass grew up in a classroom, in the desk, in a row, in a column, and you had to raise your hand to talk. We gonna see how it ended up over here. Keep playing.
Basically, if you want a submissive population that you can rule over, you have to destroy their free will. You have to condition them not to think. Thinking is the enemy, and you have to start this conditioning when they're as young as possible. So, every Polish and Prussian child was required to attend school for 8 years. 8 years where day in and day out, these kids were force-fed so much Prussian patriotism that by the time they left school, obedience to the Prussian monarchy was the only reality.
So it says Prussian patriotism was forced down the kid's throat, basically, right? I guarantee you, if I started singing something right now, all of y'all will be able to sing it. Right with me.
Uh-oh.
Oh, say, can you...
See?
What?
Come on now, dog.
You see what I'm saying? Damn. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. We ain't said that in decades.
Damn.
100 years.
But it's written.
Remember.
Brothers don't remember precept. You remember that damn pledge.
Damn.
Right you understand? Damn. It started there. It started. You looking at where it started at, bruh. Right. You understand? You had to get up and say that every morning of your life.
This is America. Especially when something happened too. I want to say something real quick because when we showed the first video with Candace Owens, she said the same thing that this is showing right here. And remember, she was like, they trying to take the math and make it wrong. It's the same concept of controlling the youth, controlling the minds. If you can conquer the minds of the youth, then what's the world going to look like? It's going to look like when you go to Chicago and O-Block. When you go Chirac, wherever you at in the crime, it's crazy. That's what it's going to look like because they control the minds of us.
And it's crazy because, like, Cap, you use the pledge, for example. You are pledging allegiance to the whole philosophy of America. That's what you're doing. You literally say, I agree to all this.
Slavery.
I'm agreeing to, I follow this philosophy. That's what you're doing. You're pledging allegiance. You say, I am allied with this country, not nobody else. And guess what? If you refuse to say the pledge back then, they look at you like you're a terrorist. Because you're not aligned with our doctrine.
When we teach, we're having to break through that psychological barrier that's on our people every day. That's why we be like, bro, what's your nationality? Oh, I'm African American. No, bro, you're just like, nah, bro. Nah, I'm good. Because that allegiance have been made.
You know, somebody debunked that African American stuff. They were like, it was a white woman. She was born in Africa.
Yeah, I think I seen.
And she moved to America. So she had to fill out as an African American.
Elon Musk.
And black people that never been to Africa, don't know what part of Africa they from.
Right.
They had a problem with that African American identifying herself as African American. Then she an African American. What the hell wrong with you? That's exactly what she is.
Right.
She's an African American. Your ass is not. You don't got nothing to do with Africa. You never been there. You don't know what. You understand?
You black.
For real. You just black.
Damn, you stupid as hell.
You just a nigga.
Yeah, she got more rights to that title for sure.
Yeah, leave, bro. I'm telling you, man. Go back to the video.
Knew. The Prussian system was so effective that it caught the eye of one person, an influential American politician by the name of Horace Mann. And Horace Mann planned on exporting this Prussian model to the
Wait a minute.
Arkansas.
Yep.
Wait a minute.
Yes, one of the poorest magnet school in the state of Arkansas is named after that man right there. It's right in the east side of Little Rock in the hood. But, you know, it's the best public school education you can get.
Stop it.
5 kids. It's named after that guy. It's like Pike Avenue, Albert Pike. It's a lot of these places named after some real racist,
Like
evil
McClellan when
white men.
Message. Yeah, this is mainly blacks and Hispanics that go to Horace Mann.
Yeah.
Message.
And they be representing. But
Man.
go, mate.
Horace Mann was passionate about reforming American education. It was his life's duty. So in 1843, he traveled across Europe visiting schools to get ideas. But no education system impressed him more than the Prussian model. To him, the Prussian model was a work of art. Here was the roadmap to molding children into anything the elite wanted. If the Prussian model could remove every single trace of Polish culture, what could it do for America? With the Prussian model, it wouldn't matter if kids were Protestant, Catholic, Black, an immigrant, Native American, or even atheists, because we would be able to permanently instill patriotism, duty, and hard work into all of them. And with Horace Mann's political influence, tax-funded public schools following the Prussian model slowly started popping up all over America. And slowly but surely, parents, teachers, those in charge, and society as a whole started to accept the Prussian model as the only sensible way to educate the youth. Instead of one big class, schools were divided into separate classes for kids of different ages. Horace also wanted mainly women to be the teachers, which is why women dominate the teaching field today. Teachers were even sent to Prussia to learn firsthand how their system worked. Authorities bought into the Prussian model so much that by 1864, Congress made it illegal for Native American kids to be taught in their native languages. Instead, they were sent to faraway boarding schools so teachers could kill the Indian to save the man. By the end of the
So, I hope y'all understand what it's showing right now.
Y'all
right?
better take heed to this.
He said that this Prussian model could be used for the elite to mold the children to be whatever they wanted them to be. You understand? So remember, like, when we read in 2 Thessalonians 2 about they exalt themselves as God and they oppose God. You understand? They want to be as God. This goes into their God complex. They want to control everybody. You understand? They want to formulate your brain, your way of thinking. You understand? Right. Literally, that's what they set out to do, using their Prussian. Horace Mann said, yeah, we're going to take this to Babylon. And we're going to implement it. And he implemented that thing. I ain't go back to the video.
Can I say something real quick on this? So just in case somebody think this is only old time stuff, this is still happening today. Just 2 or 3 years ago, I worked in the education system for a semester. They make the Hispanic, they are not allowed to speak to the Hispanic children in Spanish. They have to learn everything in English, even when they don't speak the language. You understand by that? So if they fail the class because they don't speak English, it is what it is. The teachers are not allowed to translate because they say in the school district here that they have to learn English to survive in society. So if they fail, they fail. That's still happening right now in Little Rock.
What? Yep. Well, you know, the attitude is, I mean, take your ass back to Mexico. You want to come to America and you want to enjoy the liberty that we got here, you better learn our language. You understand? Or, you know, go somewhere else. Go back across the border. All right, play the video.
1800s, the Prussian model had taken over America, and by 1900, almost every American state made public school mandatory, meaning that you had to give up your kid to the states or get the kid taken away from you and thrown in prison. Horace Mann changed the face of American public education forever, but the public school system wasn't in its final form yet, because as much as the Prussian model did wonders for the government, it still didn't do much for businessmen like you. And as John D. Rockefeller, you also saw the power of the Prussian model on the masses, and you plan on systematically infiltrating it.
Standardized slavery.
By the late 1800s, school was mandatory. They were using the Prussian model, but there was still a giant problem. There wasn't any standard curriculum to follow. So most kids ended up learning nothing that would make them useful in an oil refinery, mine, or factory. It doesn't matter how submissive or obedient they are. If they don't have the baseline education needed for your labor, you needed submissive, obedient workers that were also educated to your standards, educated on how work will set them free. So what did you do? You went to your closest confidant, a man named Friedrich T. Gates, and together the two of you created the General Education Board. On the outside, the General Education Board sounded like this very official government board that looked over the education system in America. And that's exactly the vibe you were going for, when in reality, you just created this thing out of thin air and named it the General Education Board. That is the power of a great name. And a year later, thanks to your connections in Washington, the General Education Board went official. It was incorporated by an act of Congress in 1903 with the purpose of the promotion of education in the United States of America without distinction to race, sex, or creed. A very noble sounding cause. While at the same time, this entity would be your Trojan horse to inject more than $3.5 billion in today's money into the public school system. Today, a few $billion wouldn't make a dent in the monstrosity that is our public school system. But back then, it was still in its infancy, so $3.5 billion was way more than enough to mold it into whatever you wanted. So with the money and the government charter in hand, the board went on to fund a vast number of public high schools. 912 high schools in the southern states alone by 1914. You also funded universities, medical schools, Ivy League schools, so that when kids finished their conditioning in high school, they would continue their conditioning in higher education. These are the origins of America's love affair with college degrees, by the way.
College graduation has never been more valuable than it is today.
And soon other business tycoons started jumping in on the action. By 1905, Andrew Carnegie, the steel magnate, founded the Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching. Not because he wanted people to learn about the world and become innovators, but because he needed mine managers, operators, engineers, repairmen, smelters, and railroad conductors. And the public started to catch on all this big money moving into education. In 1914, the National Education Association said that,
"We view with alarm the activity of the Carnegie and Rockefeller Foundations, agencies not in any way responsible to the people, in their efforts to control the policies of our state educational institutions, to fashion after their conception and to standardize our courses of study, and to surround the institutions with conditions which menace true academic freedom."
But your infiltration of education had picked up too much steam, too much momentum. There was no way it was gonna slow down now. By 1918, every single state started requiring kids to complete elementary school, and it just picked up from there. From standardized tests to the Carnegie-funded textbooks, to the Department of Education, to labeling and medicating kids that don't do well in this Rockefeller model of education. And your
Pause. So, all this stuff, you probably didn't know. You might have thought that America was just founded that way. As soon as they got independence from Britain, they set up schools, and this is relatively a new thing in the earth.
Right.
Throughout the history of time, you were responsible for raising your children, for educating your children. You understand? But America has brainwashed us and wired us to think that that's a part of life. While we go to work, we send our kids to the government, and we allow the government to do the service of educating our children. Whole time, they educating their children, you understand, to fill their places, but they training your children to be workers, to be employees. We need the people in the factory. We need the people in the warehouses. We need the people to do this and do that. So when they get in these fields, who you got to answer to? A boss. You got to clock in. You got to be on time. You got to stay focused on your tasks. You can't stray off, do your own thing. You can't get on your phone. You can't deal with distractions. You got to focus for 8 to 10 hours.
Right.
Like the same amount of time they be at school.
Right.
You got to, just like when you go into class, sit down, shut up, do your work. That's the same thing that happened when you go to work. That's not by coincidence. They condition, the public school system is to condition our children to become obedient, docile employees. Not entrepreneurs, not geniuses, not, philosophers, anybody that finds, any type of impact in the earth, that make any impact in the earth. You understand? They programming us to be workers, to work for them, while the elite perpetuate their eliteness by educating they kids the other way. The way that you don't know, you don't got the key, you don't know what a lock at to put the key into to find their source of education. You understand?
Right.
That's what the public schools is set up to do from the beginning of it, which it has a young beginning. It's not that It said in 1912 is when they started requiring all the kids to go to elementary school. That's barely 100 years ago.
Right.
Go ahead.
And you got to think about it. This is a time where we still had slavery and stuff going on. We still had these type of, like, black people. We was going through it at this time. So this was installed on the so-called the white kids primarily. So when it reached us, you got to think about it. They did a whole nother level to us. They made sure that they even further push this agenda on our people, because basically what you're saying, Cap, is when you go to school, you're not taught to be an owner. You're taught to be a worker.
Right.
So now, now you got to install the education with the blacks, with the so-called African Americans. So now you create not only want you to be workers, we're going to teach you how to go to prison. We're going to try to make sure we put y'all kids where y'all, you know what, think lowly of yourself, and now, think this about your people. And now it creates what? The school to prison pipeline. So they went to another level with our education. So
you remember at the beginning of that video, it said that thinking was the enemy. So what they do, they get your kids in the system, man, and they want you to take your brain out of it. Like,
Get Psalms 49:11 real quick. So this is the point, because the so-called white man in America, he studies and goes to great lengths on how to not become like the former failed kingdoms of the earth, and that's what happened throughout time. Eventually, somebody wants to go against the tyranny, wants to rebel against the reigning authority or whatever the case may be. And then you have wars, you have rebellion, you have merging of kingdoms, you have the dissolution of kingdoms, so on and so forth. So they was like, listen, for our kingdom to never go away, we're going to program everybody. You understand?
Right.
We're going to take away everybody's independent thinking ability, period. Read that.
The book of Psalms, chapter 49, verse 11.
Because that's what he said. He said every government that uses this system will never have to physically enforce obedience on the nations.
Not the police.
With no police, no chattel slavery, nothing like that. Through the education system, you have what they call it, some slavery, standardized slavery. Read that.
Psalms chapter 49, verse 11.
Go ahead.
Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever.
You see what the Bible say? They inward thought is that their house is going to continue forever. Read on.
And their dwelling places to all generations.
Right. So in order for that to be the case, nobody can think like, wait, they're corrupt. They're bad. We have to fight back. We can't allow them to do this and do that and so on and so forth. You got to think the things that we allow America to do to us and our children, starting with school, if you just take a step back and examine, be like, dang, that shit worked. You got to think about it. You got brothers and sisters in this truth that know the Bible, that know they the devil the Bible speak of, and send their kids to them every day for 8 to 10 hours.
Come on now, dog.
They have done their enterprise has been a success thus far. Real talk.
You stupid as hell.
The things that we've been conditioned for the government to allow the government to do to us, we go to our kids got shots at school. You understand? Shots.
Bruh, you had to get in school.
Listen,
it hurt, don't it?
Listen,
hurt,
listen, bruh. It worked, bruh. It worked. That's why just like you mentioned in the Willie Lynch letter, right? They were like, it's gonna take a great phenomenon because that was physical slavery. He was like, what we able to do to these Negroes, it's gonna take a phenomenon to break those mental chains. Now it got to a level to where, okay, well, we got to keep the mass, even of our people, under control as well. You understand? So we're not going to do them like we're not going to do them like we did the Negroes and buck break them and turn the light skin against the dark. We don't even have variations of skin color amongst our people to do all that. So we gonna create the school system and we just gonna lump all they ass together. You understand? To perpetuate our rulership, our agenda. Go back to the video.
Boy Friedrich T. Gates, who you created the General Education Board with, put it perfectly when he explained what he envisioned for America's education system.
In our dream, we have limitless resources, and the people yield themselves with perfect docility to our molding hand. The present educational conventions fade from our minds, and unhampered by tradition, we work our own goodwill onto a grateful and responsive rural folk. We shall not try to make these people or any of their children into philosophers or men of learning or of science. We are not to raise up among them authors, orators, poets, or men of letters. We shall not search for embryo great artists, painters, musicians, nor will we cherish even the humbler ambition to raise up among them lawyers, doctors, preachers, statesmen, of whom we now have ample supply.
Pause. Did y'all hear what they just said? Bruh. So I know we hear poets, philosophers, stuff like that. You know, you think Greek, your mind goes elsewhere. But David was a poet.
Right.
Message. Solomon was a philosopher. That's what Proverbs, you understand?
That's
so
right.
the reason that we got scriptures that we can quote, you understand? That's
Right.
because we had the Holy Spirit was on these men to, you know, say what they said, to give us these words is thousands of years old, and we are able to govern our lives based on these words,
Right.
wisdom and righteousness.
That's right.
That's the power of when you have the ability to think. So, hear me out. So I quoted the 2 Thessalonians, right, about how they exalt themselves as God, and they oppose the Most High God. If you got the children of God in captivity, and you know that the God he shows his strength through his spirit, how can we create, like you said, a barrier to block the spirit of God from entering into their mind? We gonna take control of their damn mind.
Damn.
We gonna put our unholy spirit in them.
This is a
You understand?
brother.
That's
Right.
literally what's being done. So if we put our unholy spirit within them, we make them docile and obedient, then they won't become those poets and philosophers, meaning prophets.
Right.
You understand? Instead of being poetic in terms of O Edom, the daughter of Babylon, thou art to be destroyed. That's a poem.
Right.
Instead of poetizing, prophesying through poetry, the destruction of this nation that enslaved them, they gonna rap about the destruction of their enslaved damn self.
From themselves, right.
Shoot a nigga, kill a nigga, rob a nigga, shake that ass, ho. You understand?
Right.
Listen.
They clone Tyrone.
Listen. Go
Hey,
back to the
I was gonna say, Cap, because think about it. You perfectly on point with that, because it named all of those titles, and when you look at those titles, they all influencers. So to get the Negro to not be influential in the community, control them. That's what you do. Like, put anything in his face. And I also wanted to say something. Notice these guys that started this, Arkansas. You got the Rockefeller dude. You got they said it. That was the foundation of Rockefeller dude, the oil dude from Arkansas.
Damn.
The governor, one of the first governors, one of the wealthiest mans, right here in Arkansas.
Damn.
Arkansas is wicked as
The
hell.
school to prison pipeline was headed by Clinton, right?
Yeah, all that stuff.
Arkansas.
3-state rule.
Damn.
Arkansas. This wicked state, man.
Black prison.
This stuff wicked. Can I get one script, though?
See, that's probably why they trying to double eye.
Hey.
Hey. Go ahead.
Say listen. No, I'm saying. Psalms 83. Psalms 83. I want y'all to notice something too, because at the beginning it showed that this guy named what's his name? Horace Mann went to another place, right? And it's the same people. They the same people, but watch this. Read on.
Psalms chapter 83 and verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
Our enemies have taken crafty counsel against us, right? And by default, we always say this, a casualty of war, right? It's just a casualty of war. They got to put their people in the middle of it too, just to make sure the Negroes don't rise up. You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Read on.
and consulted against thy hidden ones.
And they consulted against us. Come on.
They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Let's cut them off from being a nation. Let's wipe these. We're gonna teach them what they gonna read. We're gonna show them they're gonna get the poorest education. The Bible is gonna get pulled out of their face, right? Or we're gonna teach them whatever we want them to believe from the Bible. Let's go against these Negroes. Come on.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
They won't remember they Israel. All they remember is a pledge of allegiance to the flag. I'm American. I'm African American. I'm Afro American. I'm a Negro. I'm not an Israelite no more. Through this system, this education system. Start with the young, because the old guys know. Nah, I ain't Toby. I'm Kuta Kente. The old guys know. But the young ones, let's wipe them out. Let's wipe their understanding. Let's say 1 + 1 means 10. Let's do that now. That's what they're doing. Finish out. Verse 5.
Verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent.
They all on one accord. Well, meanwhile, remember back in the day, around that time, you had these governments fighting against each other. But they could come on one accord to go against the Negro. They could put all the beef aside. I'm French. I'm Britain, this and that. To make sure we put something in place to stop the Negro from learning who he is. And that's what they did. Damn. Read on.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee. They came against us. That's what we witnessing right here.
You got to remember, they'll take some casualties within their own people, but you got to remember, the upper echelon of the so-called white man, they send their kids to private school.
Right. Yeah, I wanted to mention that. They do.
They kids don't go to public schools.
That's what the lady said. Okay, we don't pay for public school, so the payment is our brains. But you go to private school, you get the real education. You got to pay for that though.
Yep.
That's the difference right there.
Well, private school is for like the lower upper class of white people.
Right.
The elites, the real rich people, there's, you know what I'm saying, the politicians and all that, like up there, they kids don't go to school. They have tutors that come to the house, you know, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So, but go back to the video. We almost done with it.
Is the education system Rockefeller wanted. One that didn't search for the intrinsic gifts endowed in each of us. One that didn't pump out philosophers, authors, artists, or musicians. No, our modern day education system was designed for one thing and one thing only. To pump out mindless, thoughtless, standardized, dare I say it, slaves. John D. Rockefeller put it even more succinctly. He said, I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers. And if you look around today with all this fear, all this debt, all these years of education, and yet you come out not even knowing the basic fundamentals of how to survive in this world, like how to find a lifelong partner, save, make money, invest, and file taxes, when you look around and see all of this, I'd say that Rockefeller got exactly what he wanted.
All right, that's it. You got to ask yourself, why is that the case? Why don't they, if they going to make you file taxes and apply for loans and do all this and that throughout your life, why don't they teach you that in school? They got time to teach you porn literature, which we going to show. They got time to teach you LGBT history. They got time to teach you, what's some stuff they taught us in school? Damn geometry,
the evolution,
the slope intercept
Big Bang
formula.
Theory.
They got time to teach you that bullshit. Why they don't got time to teach you how to file your taxes, how to start a bank account?
They need you to go back
how to start a business.
How to start a business, because they don't want you to. They don't want you to have that capability. They want you to know how to shut up and be quiet and do what you told. That's what you're being taught. It's not about education. It's about the competence to be a worker. That's it. All right, go to the next.
You said it, Cap. It ain't about education because they don't even teach you proper math no more.
Right.
Like the sister said. So it ain't about really learning.
So Jeremiah, he had mentioned something about how we got it even worse as the Israelites, and that's true. All right, play that video.
They're all equal in the eyes of their country. In planning for public education, Americans have sought to give every youngster equal opportunity.
But not everybody was celebrating the decision. 65% of black parents in Topeka with junior high students indicated that they preferred all black schools.
Pause.
The Brown
So it's making reference to the Brown versus Board of Education, right? In which allowed the schools to be integrated. So they publicized it as if like, hey, yeah, let's celebrate. We got niggers in school now. Standardized slavery.
Right.
But the black people wasn't even, majority-wise, wasn't even happy about that. 65% of the students said that we prefer to be in our own school.
Message.
But go ahead.
Brown family had no problem with the black school that Linda was attending besides distance. In fact, they loved Monroe.
The black school was a very good school. We don't have any qualms about our schools. They were very good schools. We had quality teachers, but then it wasn't a matter of being a quality school. It was a matter of having to go so far to school. And there was a school in our neighborhood.
So the issue wasn't we wanted to be in school with the people that hated our guts. It was just far as hell. That was the issue. You understand? So we got integrated to be able to go to the white schools that was closer. But we would have much rather originally, right? We would have much rather been, you know, amongst our peers and taught by our people, right?
That's right.
Go back to the video.
To school. And there was a school in our neighborhood 4 blocks away.
The Browns were fighting based on principle. The denial of Linda's attendance should not be based on the color of her skin. While black children across America were coping with abrupt changes, there was another population that was completely left out: teachers. The majority opinion focused solely on children. Black teachers were left with no employment guarantee despite their success at all black schools, many of which closed after the ruling, as school systems across the country kept the white schools instead. Just east of Topeka, a small town in Missouri called Moberly closed their one black school, Lincoln, after the Brown v. Board decision. The Moberly School Board fired all 11 of its black teachers, whereas 121 white teachers were retained.
Damn.
7 of those teachers decided to sue the school board. One teacher in particular, Mary Ella Timoney, formerly Mary Ella Hicks, had a PhD, fantastic ratings, involved in the community, and was obviously qualified. Yet she was fired instead of white teachers that only had provisional certificates. The court says, intangible factors such as personality, character, disposition, industry, and adaptability vitally affect the work of any teacher. We concede that the result is unusual and somewhat startling. In the usual situation, considering the number of applicants involved, one would suppose that a fair application of standards would result in the reemployment of some of the Negro teachers. The teachers lost the case in the appeal, and many left Moberly. Almost every case involving black educators was dismissed on the basis of the Moberly ruling. This trend was an epidemic across the country after Brown v. Board, especially in the South. More than 40,000 black educators lost their jobs during this time.
Damn.
Over $240 million were lost in teacher salaries in just 1 year as a result of the mass terminations. Prior to Brown, in the 17 states that had segregated...
So look, so what I want y'all to understand is basically what they wanted you to think was a W for you, right, was really the most major L that you could get. Think about it, right? If you black, who is going to advocate for you in that school system where you're being conditioned to be a worker and not think and be equipped with actual knowledge to succeed in life? Your people, your black teacher, they gon' no, this, you know, they not gonna do the whole the agenda. It's the wrong answer, but it's not wrong. They gonna what? Message. Hey, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you got a large decrease in black teachers, you understand that you're taking out the advocacy for the black child in the school system, and that's why. And they gon' hit on it too. I hope we get to the part that I think I included within the timestamp. Keep playing. I want y'all to, cause this gonna hit home for a lot of us. Keep playing.
School systems, 35 to 50% of the teaching force was black. 1 year after Brown, this is what the black population of cities looked like compared to the amount of black teachers. Those black teachers that remained on staff found that their job became even more difficult.
I say integration can be reversed, it can be stopped anywhere, provided an attack is made at every single level.
White parents often assumed black teachers were less qualified than white teachers, though they held college degrees at nearly equal rates. In many districts, black teachers who registered to vote were immediately fired. Some were forced to use student restrooms, and the backlash from parents in white communities drove many teachers out before they were fired.
Our teachers have been called names of all kinds, and they have made it a point within the last few weeks to do anything they could to make it difficult for the teachers.
Black students who wanted to make a difference and enjoyed learning suddenly began to see fewer and fewer teachers that looked like them. In a 10-year period, the number of black students who chose education as a major declined by 66%. Without advocates in the classroom, black students were harassed by teachers, parents, and fellow students, and today they are often cited for behavioral issues at a disproportionate rate.
That's what I wanted right there. I want you to go back. Please go back about 10 seconds. Remember, I was sitting without your people in that classroom as a teacher advocating for you. Your enemy gonna pick on you. I want y'all to put it into perspective. All right, me, I'm not a savage. I'm not a out of control. I was never just a bad kid. But why was I getting put out of class almost every day? How was I getting in-school suspension? I'm talking about me. I'm getting rolled up, referrals, I got every form of discipline the school can give you. You can't. Me, I'm talking about me now. You understand? In my 10th grade year, I was so oppressed and targeted at school. Now, I was doing some wicked stuff. But still, I was so targeted at school even when I wasn't doing nothing that I just stopped going to school.
Come on now, dog.
I had straight F's because I would never go into class. The last 9 weeks, I was like, damn, I can't flunk. I ain't no damn too smart for that. Right. So I'm like, I'm going to school, going to class, getting my work done, and every day they trying to put me out. Every day I'm battling with, making it to class and being able to stay in class to get my work done to make sure I pass. That's what I had to go through. I'm like, man, Mom, look, I gotta go to Parkview. This is the magnet school. You know what I'm saying? I don't know nobody. They don't know me. Let me go there. So I was able to go there my last 2 years and get my stuff together. You know what I'm saying? But before that, at my first high school, every day they tried to kick me out. They tried to write me up every single day. It go back to this right here. Play that clip again.
Advocates in the classroom, black students were harassed by teachers, parents, and fellow students, and today they are often cited for behavioral issues at a disproportionate rate.
You see that? A disproportionate rate. Black people are labeled as having behavioral issue. It's not because you really that damn bad.
Right.
It's because with that Brown versus Board of Education verdict, what you thought was a W was really what destroyed our fighting chance in the education system. By removing all the black teachers, majority of the black teachers out and taking out the spirit, the desire for the kids to want to grow up and become educators.
Right. This is affliction, brothers.
Hey, give me Cap. That really, and then here's the thing. With all the behavior forms and stuff like that, it puts into you that I must be bad. Now you going out and doing that, it's to create that prison pipeline. Like I said, when they doing that to the kids like that, it makes our kids think, you know what, I must be bad. Since y'all say I'm bad, I'ma be bad. That puts it in our kids. Give me Sirach 12 and 10 real quick.
Nah, you right, because if I'm going to school every day, I know I ain't even on that today. Like, I'm trying to do my work, and you picking on me and threatening me to go to the office. I'm finna show my ass then.
Story of my life.
Hey, to hell with it then. For real. I'm going to turn up. And that's what happened to a lot of our kids.
Because, Cap, that's what I was doing, too. Because I was like, you know what, man? Shoot. Because it's like, whenever you constantly getting picked on by teachers, it's like, oh, we know what your name is. So I ain't going to say my old name. Nigger Coon. Yep, we got you in the office again. They do that all the time. It's like, they be like, yep, we know who you is. Yep. Yep, I know your mom. It's like, dang, bro, these not people that look like me. This is
to the counselor that don't
you see what I'm
look like
saying?
But you know how they get you, like you said, with the prisoner pipeline thing. Once you get so many, once you get rolled up so many times, right? The way they do it, then the next step is you got to go to court. They put you in the court system. This kid right here, he's a distraction. He causes too many problems in the classroom. So then you go to court, and then what they do? Well, we got to put them on that medication.
Yep, the medication.
That's there you go. And then here's the thing. Another thing, since now you in the court system, now who watching out for you? Police.
Hey, you missed the point.
Now
though.
police targeting you because they know, hey, this kid got a bad rep in school.
We got about 10 minutes.
I'm telling you, let me get this script. I gotta pull it real quick. Sirach 12 and 10.
The book of Sirach, chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy.
So the Bible says, never trust your enemies. Like right now, you got what? Bill Gates is trying to take over the educational system. So you got to think about it. We already went through the history, but you see how they tried to destroy our children. They did it through the work, try to make our kids not have the mindset where they can own, but be workers. So now you will have Bill Clinton going to start, you know what? Let's help depopulate them as well. Let's even further the agenda. So you can't trust your enemies. They ain't making your school better. They ain't here for your kids. Right. It says never trust your enemies, Reed.
For like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness.
So guess what? That wickedness, listen, man, this ain't going away. So you thinking that, oh, it's going to get better? No, it's getting worse. That's why you see it's different levels they doing in the schools right now. They sexualizing your children.
Don't fall for it.
All right, finish that clip.
If we compare the lives of two students, one black and one white today, with similar math and reading scores in elementary school and similar home situations, that white student is still more than 2 times as likely to be selected for gifted programs in schools than the black student is. Black students are selected 3 times more often for those gifted programs in classrooms with black teachers than with non-black teachers. When black students are recognized by authority figures, they are more likely to be viewed as capable of success and more likely to graduate from high school and aim for college. Today, black students represent 15% of the student population, but only 7% of teachers are black.
Damn. It's true. All right, so now go to the next clip. We gotta hurry up now. So we went into the history, right? The origins of America's educational system to show that it was a controlled operation from the get-go.
Message.
Right? And as you could see with our people, with the so-called blacks, it was made even worse, you understand, by the pulling out of the black teachers that would be able to advocate for the black children.
Damn.
Right? So it's even, like you mentioned, it's even worse for us with something as bad, period, for everybody.
Right.
So now let's look at what's going on today. Play that. Excuse the sodomite.
Not, for the love of God, tell kids that slavery was beneficial, because I can guarantee you it most certainly was not. Thank you.
Education and civil rights advocates are slamming new Black history teaching standards in Florida. Under the new rules, middle school teachers must now include lessons, quote, how slaves developed skills, which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit.
It's inaccurate. It's ahistorical. Critics are calling this a big step backwards and saying it's a disservice to Florida students because they're not going to learn the full truth and the full accurate truth of American history.
So in other words, they teaching that, in slavery, we taught black people how to do this and do that.
That's
They're cleaning up the slavery image. All right, now go to the next clip. Play that real quick. This what else going on today. Shout out to Florida, man. All right.
Because there is now a war on children happening within our K through 12 school system. I am not being hyperbolic when I say that, because I grew up in this country going through the public school systems, and the curriculum and the material that's being taught is nothing like our memories as adults. We are now moving. I just want to give a couple illustrations. You know, a lot of people have heard about critical race theory as a concept. But from it came this idea of queer theory. And that then became these kind of books in our pre-K, K school systems, binary. And if anybody remembers, you know, what it is like to be a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old or raise one, they can barely remember to brush their teeth, tie their shoelaces. But now they are being taught the gay BCs.
Damn!
And I'm a Muslim feminist. I'm a Muslim who has
Go to the next video. So that's what the left is doing, right?
Damn.
Remember that America is a two-headed serpent. So you got the Democrats, you got the Republicans. The left, the Democrat side, is pushing the LGBT propaganda. Now look at what the right is doing, the Republicans. Play that. Come on.
Conservative effort to suppress classroom lessons about racism and slavery. The Times reporting on nearly a dozen Republican-led states seeking to ban or limit how the role of slavery and the pervasive effects of racism can be taught. Fox News goes all in on the issue.
A curriculum that teaches their kids to hate their country.
The political left, in perpetuating this myth that America is a fundamentally racist country.
Joe Biden now wants to spend your money on critical race theory lessons for our country's already.
So, all right. Y'all get the gist of it. Basically, again, they're trying to clean up slavery. They're trying to make it seem like we're fundamentally racist. Like we built the country off
come on, guys.
the backs of free slave labor.
Don't be preposterous.
You did. They're trying to make people believe that we enslaved them. Come on, guys. You just got our last names because you liked us.
Yeah.
But
slavery was a choice.
So they're trying to, like you put in Psalms 83, that we just forget totally, and it goes back to the initial intent of the education system. Now that you niggers in the same schools with us, you gotta be infused with the patriotism. You gotta become a full-fledged American.
Right.
And learning the history of how you got to America, what you were doing at first, is gonna make you struggle with becoming a full American. So we just gonna take that out altogether. We're just gonna ban teaching that. So you would never be able, like the next generation, when we bring out Deuteronomy 28 and we got the camp signs, they're gonna be like,
what is this?
What the hell is this? You understand? It's Satan. Listen, he know what he's doing. All right, go to the next clip. Play it.
And then we can discuss, you can discuss the process by which these books get on the shelves, because there's a Clay County employee that got paid to put this book, Lucky, by Alice Sabot. I'm going to read things. If there's children watching, cover their ears. He began to need
I'm going to stop you right there, sir. I'm going to stop you right there.
The parent is reading a book from the school library, and when he start to read it, they're like, no.
You better shut your white mouth.
So wait, if it's in the school library, he should be able to read it out loud, right? So it's showing that they putting perversion on them library shelves for the parents not to be keen to, not to be privy to. All right, go to the next
And
clip.
guess
Watch
who reading
this.
it? The transsexual.
This is going to be the last clip for the day. Just to show what's going on today in the education system. It's all about perpetuating America's agenda. Play that.
And yet, as Libs of TikTok reports today, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare is teaming up with an activist group to provide porn literacy materials for children in school. The Idaho Freedom Foundation organization has more details about this. Quote, Idaho's Department of Health and Welfare implements a sex education curriculum endorsed by Planned Parenthood in its schools. The curriculum and training for sex education facilitators is purchased from an interest group that promotes queering education and normalizing the consumption of pornography. Idaho law requires sex education taught in public schools to reinforce traditional family arrangements. IDHW promotes what Idaho law prohibits, however. IDHW takes funds from federal programs like the Personal Responsibility Education Program and Title V Sexual Risk Avoidance Education. Then IDHW acquires sex education products from nonprofits like Education Training and Research Organization, which is ETR, whose curriculum is developed and endorsed by Planned Parenthood. Yes, Planned Parenthood has taken a special interest in sex education, not just in Idaho, but across the country for a long time. It's not difficult to see why. Sexualizing kids at younger and younger ages means more and more customers for them in the long run. The earlier that they sexualize kids, then the more reckless sexual behavior you can expect, and then the more quote-unquote unwanted pregnancies, the more STDs, and then you get the more people walking into Planned Parenthood clinics. So it's from a business perspective, it makes a lot of sense for them. Here's a little more from the report.
You can't make this up.
Big business.
Let me end with this, Proverbs 30 and 12. And this is for our people, right? Listen, like Hezekiah mentioned earlier, if this your nation, you just a casualty. It is what it is, Esau. But for us, we gotta awake, come out of her, my people. You understand? Because you see what's going on, right? It's about business. It's about money. It's about keeping your people docile, obedient to whatever agenda that they want to push. Planned Parenthood, that goes back to Bill Gates, who's putting billions of dollars into the education system, right? To go into depopulation. That's why they got the LGBT history. They teaching your kids to be gay. They teaching your kids to be promiscuous, if not gay. So when they grow up, they'll get pregnant at 16, 17 and abort the baby to go to Planned Parenthood and for them to make that money and for you to keep killing your baby. You understand?
Right.
It all goes. It's money and depopulation for them, which is control over your black ass. So this is what we need to do. Read that.
Proverbs chapter 30, verse 12.
Come on.
There is a generation that are pure.
I mean Isaiah 30 and 12. Okay. I'm sorry. Isaiah 30 and verse 12.
The book of Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 12.
Go ahead.
Wherefore, thus saith the Holy One of Israel,
read.
Because ye despise this word.
You despise the word of God, which teaches us to educate our children. Like it said in 2 Maccabees, she endured the troubles of education. That's what our foremothers did. Go ahead.
And trust in oppression.
But we would rather trust in oppression. We give our children 8 to 10 hours, 5 days a week to the man that enslaved us, to the man that hates your guts. Damn. To his system. That shows you trust.
Right.
You put them on the bus. You trust for them to get them there, to feed them there, to educate them there, and bring them back. That's some trust. Go ahead.
And perverseness.
And what?
Perverseness.
Because that's what the modern education system is, right? It was perverse from the beginning in the sense that it was always meant to control the minds of the people and just create workers, not thinkers.
Right.
Right? But now to fulfill their financial endeavors as a nation, to fulfill their depopulation endeavors as a nation, they are pushing perverse agendas through the curriculum now. The children are learning porn literacy. You understand that they're learning the correct keywords to type in to see. If you want to see a big booty black woman, you have to type in BB. Well, I don't want to. You understand? But they teaching you what a PAWG is.
This is America.
You know what I'm saying? That's what they teaching in school. You understand? That's perverseness, and our people trust in that. We gotta break the chain to this oppressor. We gotta let it go, y'all. We gotta educate our children. This education system is meant to destroy us. All right. So with that, Israel, y'all was edified. Come back next week. We'll be back with more fire on Let's Talk Truth.
flipping through the script like early morning to the midnight. Meditate like this is what it hit like. When I need a look, get right. Better sit tight. Feel like a new level. Come with a new devil. Swing the sword like pulling out the precepts. Every sentence, every detail, face to east, and I pray. I pray. I pray. Seem like the new level. Come with a new devil, cut him like, hey. I pray. I pray. This is what it hit like. Real prophets don't get tired. No way.
Pride, I know that it need to die. Here's what I'm feeling inside. I wanna ride. Chariots fly through the sky. Faster than you blink your eye. This is a pride. Building these